This podcast is brought to you by Three Rivers Energy Partners. In today's episode of Digest This.
Businesses, manufacturers, food producers, retailers can tap RNG to cut their Scope 3 emissions.
RNG is a win for climate, the economy, energy security, and communities all at once.
Total nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, magnesium, and more. It's a broad-spectrum soil booster, not just a short menu of nutrients.
Welcome to Digest This, Unpacking Our Sustainable Future, where we dive deep into the latest developments in sustainability and renewable energy. Join us in exploring the pioneering solutions and technologies that are shaping our future. Now, let's dive into today's episode.
All right, Emily, we're kicking off today's episode with a question I get all the time. What exactly is renewable natural gas, or RNG? Sometimes people assume it's just another form of regular natural gas, just rebranded, But that's not the case at all.
Yeah, RNG is a whole different beast. Think of it as biogas that's been upgraded. We're talking about capturing methane from places like landfills, livestock farms, food processing plants, even wastewater treatment. The process basically takes the methane that would escape into the atmosphere, hugely potent as a greenhouse gas, and instead cleans it up so it can be used just like natural gas.
Right. So starting with the raw feedstock, say food waste or animal manure, or as we see with our projects at Three Rivers Energy Partners, spent grains from distilleries, microorganisms break all that down in specialized digester tanks. This generates biogas, and then through a series of steps, removing CO2, moisture, trace gases, you get RNG that's pipeline ready. It's genuinely a circular economy play.
And the big climate story here is methane mitigation. According to the EPA, methane's at least 28 times more potent than carbon dioxide. Capturing it before it escapes into the atmosphere? That's a huge near-term win for the climate. Plus, you're reducing landfill and manure management problems. But the economic benefits are key too. RNG can be injected into the natural gas grid, so it uses what's already there. No need to build out brand new pipelines or change out appliances.
Which also means businesses, manufacturers, food producers, retailers can tap RNG to cut their Scope 3 emissions. I mean, Scope 3 is where most of their carbon footprint hides, especially when you look at supply chain logistics or even how their products are made and moved. We talked a lot about Scope 3 in past episodes, especially in that one about food producers collaborating with suppliers. RNG is a practical lever to meet those corporate sustainability pledges without waiting for future tech.
Exactly, and it's tangible. Fleet vehicles can run on RNG, factories can power boilers, and the air quality improves locally by avoiding diesel or coal. On top of that, we're seeing new jobs and investment in rural communities where a lot of the feedstock comes from. There are challenges like feedstock supply, seasonality, startup cost, but the value proposition is clear, especially as incentives and policy support grow. And the U.S. is leading on infrastructure compatibility. So, in short, RNG is a win for climate, the economy, energy security, and communities all at once. So let's get into something close to both our hearts, fertilizer. Specifically the LGSD fertilizer, or liquid stillage grain digestate, we produce at our anaerobic digester facilities in Tennessee and Kentucky. This stuff is totally closing the loop. Spent grains from whiskey production are turned into both RNG and a nutrient-rich fertilizer, liquid grain stillage digestate. And it's all natural nutrients recovered from the plants that were used to create whiskey, making it kinder to soil and the environment.
Yeah, I've actually seen the product sheet, and this thing packs a punch. Total nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, magnesium, and more. It's a broad-spectrum soil booster, not just a short menu of nutrients. Think of it as a complete meal for your crops rather than a vitamin supplement. And because it's produced right there at the distillery, you're looking at fertilizer with a super low carbon footprint compared to commercial options hauled in from far away.
Here's where the economics start to shine. That local supply means Kentucky's crop and forage farmers can support thousands of acres according to projections, and we offer it to local farmers at a discount compared to commercial fertilizer. We are trying to help farmers so they aren't at the mercy of global fertilizer supply chains that can be, let's be real, wildly unpredictable.
And all the savings are direct. You don't have to worry about shipment delays from overseas, and you know exactly what's going into your soil. This fertilizer is meant for direct field application, and it has a low solids percentage, making it easier to apply. So it's accessible even if you're a mid-sized or larger operator.
Honestly, from a scientific standpoint, what I love most is how it supports better soil structure long-term. It's not just about one growing season, and it fills a big policy gap too. With all this talk of making minerals like phosphate critical to domestic food security, as fertilizer groups are pushing for, it just underlines how essential, local, reliable nutrient sources like our LGSD fertilizer are to American agriculture. We're closing that nutrient cycle loop, supporting farm resilience, and shrinking the farm's environmental footprint all at once.
We've talked in previous episodes about spiking fertilizer costs and input crunch for farmers. This is a real boots-on-the-ground solution. And it's not just theory, it's happening right now. That's exciting, and a model for what other rural economies could do. Let's take it from theory to practice. Franklin County, Tennessee, where we just hosted the Forward in the Field event earlier this summer. We showed off the 360 rain autonomous fertilizer system that can apply LGSD directly on the roots of the plants. It was honestly kind of sci-fi, seeing this thing roll through the fields without a driver, delivering precise, on-the-go nutrients, totally redefines what precision agriculture looks like for everyday growers.
And the demonstration's impact was real. It wasn't just about robots, it was about making sure every nutrient counts and actually improves yields and soil health long-term without excess runoff. We want to help farmers break dependency on traditional chemical inputs, especially given all the coverage around phosphate and potash being critical minerals and the risk of imports being disrupted, like we saw in recent years.
Absolutely. You know, for me, a real highlight was Tracy Robinson. He and his wife Katie were named Tennessee Farm Bureau Young Farmers of the Year in 2024. Good people, and their operation is all about innovation and stewardship. That spirit was all over the event: community, curiosity, and the push to solve real problems together.
And you can see how these partnerships between producers, local organizations, agri-tech companies, they're the backbone for rural resilience. It's not just about this one fertilizer or this one robot. It's about meeting supply challenges, harnessing resources more efficiently, and setting new standards for sustainable agriculture. With the national conversation heating up over securing reliable, domestically produced fertilizers, it feels like the field is primed for a lot more collaboration and a lot more smart technology working for farmers, not just big agribusiness.
Right, we've come full circle. RNG turning waste to fuel, fertilizer feeding fields, tech bringing it all together, and local leaders driving change. Seeing the way community and innovation intersect, that's really the story, isn't it?
Totally, and I have to say, after spending time in Franklin County, I'm more hopeful than ever. If we keep amplifying these solutions and building connections between science, business, and the folks actually working the land, the potential is enormous. We'll keep tracking these trends and sharing new stories as we move deeper into the season.
That's it for today's episode. Thanks for joining us on Digest This. Emily, always a pleasure. And to everyone listening, if you want more on these topics or missed our deep dives on Scope 3, fertilizer, or RNG, catch up on previous episodes anytime. We're just getting started.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks to everyone in the field, literally and figuratively. Take care and see you next time on Digest This.
Thank you for listening to Digest This, Unpacking Our Sustainable Future, a Three Rivers Energy Partners podcast. Three Rivers Energy Partners is a renewable energy company that empowers organizations with the ability to create a sustainable future by converting organic waste streams into renewable energy and resources. To get the latest episode of Digest This, or to find out more about Three Rivers Energy Partners, visit threeriversenergy.com or find us on LinkedIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. The sustainable future is being created right now. Keep exploring and keep up to speed with the latest in renewable energy and sustainability. See you next time.